Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this article popped up out of nowhere today. This is from the Financial Times. This is not just from some random publication. With all this talk that's been going on about a quantum financial system, and that's been talked about in various different places for the last few weeks. And all that I ever heard is that quantum, this is way out into the future and all this, and maybe it is, but the way that this article is written, this quantum operating system trialed successfully. Now, I don't know all about this quantum stuff, but what I do know is what this article says. That's very interesting. When you go down into this, it's quantum operating system trialed successfully. Riverlane's Universal Delta Flow OS could establish UK's standing in the technology. And I liked this line right here. Potential use cases for the new operating system include in quantum finance and quantum chemistry, which make use of hybrid algorithms combining quantum and classical computing. You need a quick feedback loop with these systems to correct any errors, she said. So I want to read that again. Potential use cases for the new operating system include in quantum finance. I mean, what are the chances of this article coming out after all this stuff we've been watching? But again, I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know about quantum and all that stuff. I don't know how all that works. But to me, this really did jump out at me today when I saw this, because I'm like, well, all we've ever heard in the last week, I used the example of when I first saw the Patriot missile. Nobody that I knew had any idea that the U.S. had the technology to shoot down missiles, and all of a sudden it was there. And I think any technology is probably about the same way. Any technology that involves national security of a country is probably kept like that, secret like that as well. In other words, if you're seeing a quantum computer being created by Google, then if that's what you're seeing, what's being done in secret? What do we have in secret if that's what you're seeing publicly? That's what I always think on these things. But again, I don't know anything about quantum, whatever. I don't even know how that all works. But, okay, now Gold Telegraph, user reports indicate, this is from this morning, Vanguard's having problems. User reports indicate Charles Schwab is having problems. User reports indicate TD Ameritrade is having problems. All those websites were down, is my understanding. Nothing to see here. It's like we're crossing a bridge to a new financial system or anything. Robinhood, E-Trade, Schwab, TDA, they were all down this morning, which is pretty interesting. And this is against the backdrop yesterday from Ian Northing. One of the largest internet outages ever recorded occurred this weekend. And it was the CenturyLink outage is what it was. Then the article happens to have this same exact graphic that is used on Ripple's website. CoinDesk, the CEO and 4 other executives are out at CoinMarketCap. What this is about, remember, Binance bought CoinMarketCap a few months back, and now you have all the executives from CoinMarketCap leaving. Well, good riddance is what I say, because for those of you that were around during the 2017-18 run of XRP, these guys at CoinMarketCap, those guys that were there, in my opinion, they were Bitcoin maximalists, and they never did give a good answer to what they did is right in the middle of the XRP run, they stopped reporting the feed from, I think it was South Korea. There was a disparity. The prices in Korea, the market was so hot over there that the prices were higher than they were in the United States. So these guys just overnight decided to just throw out the pricing from Korea, and didn't even say anything about it. So the next morning, people woke up and thought that the prices had dropped, that the bottom fell out of the prices, and it caused a panic sale. Okay, and I got this from Rob Licker. He sent me this. More on that board shuffle. I'm hearing that IPO might not occur till mid-2021 since Coinbase wants to do a token offering, but regulatory framework isn't there. So this is interesting because this is an article about how they're shuffling around their board, but this is something I had not seen confirmed that Coinbase is wanting to do some type of a token offering in conjunction with their IPO. This could be a crazy new model for how we see IPOs come out. That will be interesting. But in the article itself, it basically says, excited to announce the addition of 2 industry leaders to Coinbase's boardroom. Mark Andreessen, who started Netscape, remember? He's with Andreessen Horowitz is his VC firm. And one of the world's leading venture capital firms joins as board observer. Gokul Rajaram, an executive at DoorDash, has joined the board at the designation of the DFJ Growth Fund. Okay. Now, for those of you that have never seen this graphic, it's a good one to see. Purchasing power of the U.S. dollar, 1913 to 2020. The dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power since 1913. Check this graphic out. This is what happens to all fiat over time. Okay? Fiat is a lie. Now, this is just an interesting piece of news I thought that everybody would be interested in. Amazon has been granted FAA clearance for Prime Air drone delivery fleet. Soon, we are going to be getting deliveries with drones. How cool is this going to be? What I want to know is what are they going to, I guess the drones are not going to go down all the way. Otherwise, people will start stealing them. I think they're going to just lower the packages or something. Okay, now James Rule had put this out, and I found an interesting clip in here that I had never heard. This is David Schwartz. This is his podcast. This is part 2 where he's interviewing Coil CEO Stefan Thomas, and I just wanted to play this 1-minute clip where he talks about Codius.
Widely available.
Yeah, so it's actually funny to tell a story of like what we did after we started Coil. The first thing we did is we made a new version of Codius that was using IntelliLedger.
Version of Codius.
And it was pretty rough around the edges. Like there were a lot of usability issues and things like that. But what it forced us to do is it forced us to iron out a lot of the problems with the IntelliLedger network itself. And the reason we did it with Codius as an open source project, as opposed to kind of just building our product and kind of developing the infrastructure along with that, was that we didn't want our brand to be, dragged down by IntelliLedger not working properly, right? So it took us about a year to get IntelliLedger to work well. And then we, put Codius on hold again or kind of put it on the back burner. And then we launched our main product on top of that network that we had helped to build. So yeah, that was kind of how we got from the theory to the practice. And I actually would say like that process was pretty good approach. Like I would do it the same way again if given the chance.
So,
all right. And now I wanted to, Heoseko Carmona sent me this clip right here that I find very interesting. This is a guy, he's an investor, but he basically admits that ever since 2008, this has all been a printed over joke. Listen to what he says.
Is pursuing a zero interest rate policy, not because things are good in the economy. They're pursuing a zero interest rate policy because things are bad in the economy. So, I would say I have a conservative view. The Fed is forcing everybody out on the risk curve. Bonds offer return-free risk. The idea of buying a bond where you get 70 basis points for 10 years, where you can find plenty of good companies yielding 2 and 3% or more, makes no sense to me. So when it all comes down to, I'm a numbers person, the S&P is roughly 3,500. It's selling at 23 times normalized earnings. Okay, that multiple is high versus history, not particularly high relative to interest rates. Okay, but I would argue that the stock market and the economy, to some degree, has been on some form of life support since 2008. We never made it out of QE, and now we have the zero interest rate policy. This should work against PEs. Whatever the government is supporting the economy and the market, you should take it out of price-earnings ratios, in my opinion.
Okay, so he pretty much tells the truth there. Now, I want to show you something. Many of you have probably not seen this, but Jim Rickards is pretty much the authority on gold and different things like this. Jim Rickards in 2019, he basically was doing doing a speech, and he predicted what he thought was going to happen with gold when we came to the next financial crisis that he said was going to be worse than the 2008. And folks, if you haven't figured it out, we are in it right now. So listen to what I think this was back in 2019 when he did this. Listen to what he says is going to happen. This is his prediction, not mine.
I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying that in a financial panic, in a liquidity crisis, in a monetary panic, worse than 2008, which I do expect, if international elites, the IMF, finance ministers of the G20 countries have to restore confidence and they turn to gold, which they might, you have to have $10,000 gold. Any lower price is deflationary. It would completely defeat the purpose. It would repeat the blunders of 1925. And so basically there's nothing standing in the way of a gold standard tomorrow.
So he's basically saying, yeah, if we go into one of these things that's worse than 2008, what we're in right now is going to be a lot worse. Probably already is. You just can't see it yet. When it's actually seen, he's telling you right there, 10K gold standard. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. Oh, by the way, tell your friends and family this. I've been telling you about my newsletter. Well, tomorrow, if you're not on my newsletter already, you can go in the description of this video or the digital asset investor newsletter.com. Put your name and email address in, because tomorrow is the first day that the newsletter goes out, and I'm going to tell you which investments in the blockchain realm that I own and anything else that I'm looking at. Thank you for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.